Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. A bit delayed because I got home from the art festival. It takes a bit longer because of the bus route detours and all that. And I needed time to unload the hauler. And it took me several attempts to refresh the page on my tablet so I can bring up the stream so I can read the chat. So I am ready to go. I decided to pull out just an easy one. This is a 2022 pack USM Marine Menu 3. It was packed by the Warnick Company, and I know it was 2022 because it was in the 2022 case that I bought off of Amazon last year. Warnick does not put date codes, at least they never did on these. Boating's Life, Spicy Tuna Rolls, thanks for dropping in. I didn't shoot much video at the art festival other than that little short that I put up yesterday because I was just too busy handing out our info cards and our little TP kits to promote the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow, which takes place in September. And today was a bit of a heater, so I took that small block fan that I liberated from the laundry room. I took my Opus power station, and then our committee director also brought his battery power fan that's about the same size as the one I brought. So between the two of them, we had a little air circulation going on. Then it got windy and it got hot, but we still kept the fans going. Oh, actually got that open. Oh, that's good. Let's see what we got in here. We got accessory pack, and I see sugar and Bill's Brew, so I don't have to go to my backup plan. Awesome. Got the beverage bag, which I do not use, but I hold on to all of these. Here is the chicken with noodles and veggies. This was packed early in 22 on 81st day. That will go into the kitchen. Got the milk chocolate M&Ms. Got apple jelly, so there has to be a cracker of some sort. Got the spoon, which I do not use, but I save all these. This will go into a bag of spoons that I've been collecting and should there be a time where I have to restrict my water use and go to all of my disposable stuff, I will have all these spoons to go to. Got a peanut butter. Got an orange drink mix. This is just beverage-based powdered orange. It is not the electrolyte. But I'll tell you, I knocked back the electrolytes today. Got the raspberry applesauce in here. Got the sleeve that has the info for the chicken. And it has all this other stuff that they put on there. There's FRH, which I do not use, but I saved these. And there's no card with the nutritional info for the applesauce. They usually put that in, but it's missing this time. Of course, I will use a ration bag as a trash bag, so just plain crackers. Inside of the accessory pack, Booger Butt dropped in. Thanks for hanging out. Got the usual rear roll, a powdered hot sauce, creamer, Bill's Brew, sugar, and Enjoy. Both of these are Enjoy branded. So sugar and their version of Splenda. Enjoy is a food service company. Sometimes you can buy their products on Amazon. Got cinnamon gum. Got the wet wipe. And somebody messed up because there are 2 packets of salt in here. Yeah, that was a big oops on their part. I'm moving aside those items that I'm not going to use. I randomly picked Mike Kreischer's mug. The Carlos Perry in their house, thanks for dropping in. Well, that didn't tear very good because I ripped it all the way across, but apparently it was crooked. Now I'm going to take this orange drink. Last night I mixed up 2 bottles of electrolyte drink mix plus one of those sugar-free U.S. Armory lemonades in the little stick pack. So I put about half of that in each bottle, along with the lemon lime electrolyte drink powder. And then shook that up and put both of those bottles in the fridge. Then I had another electrolyte drink that was already just in a bottle ready to go. So I have my orange bottle out tonight for this. So the 2 bottles that I mixed, I drank there, and then I started drinking my 3rd electrolyte drink. We only had our booth open till 11 to 5 today. So I drank the rest of it while riding I waited for the bus at the bus stop closest to the park where the art festival was. And then I got to the art station. I had to wait a half hour for another bus to take me home, so I finished off that bottle there. So it's like 1 3/4 liters of electrolyte drink. And I'll tell you, I'm so glad I had those. I'll give that another mix later. I'm going to go ahead and toss this in the pot, and then I'll bring the kettle for my coffee. back. I'm going to need the peanut butter. Survival Empire in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Got the apple jelly here. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to open up this applesauce. Now this is going to be a bit different color because of the raspberry. Oh, as I was folding it, I just noticed that the nutritional information is on the other side of the applesauce pouch. Yeah, Monday is tomorrow. These M&Ms have the commercial pack date, or the best buy date, so 23 is the best buy date on these M&Ms. So got them all there. They look perfect. Now see how these crackers held up. Darn, didn't get a hiss out of it. I was hoping to get a hiss out of this for you, but that didn't work. Well, they're going to be a bit crumbly. Which is usual for these things. Yeah, that's a good thing to have. You can collapse it down. Oh, that piece wants to stick to my finger. There you go. Time to see how this peanut butter held up. Nope, that didn't quite do it. I'm just gonna cheat and cut it. Now this should do it. All the good for that peanut butter. Oh, awesome. I got my scissors out. I'm just going to go ahead and cut a corner off the apple jelly. I'm only putting this on one cracker because I'm going to use the other cracker for the main. Some of it landed on the other cracker, but that's okay. I don't care. I'm going to go back into the kitchen. Actually, I could probably just scrape this off. I'll call that good. I am back. I got the chicken and noodles in here. This is what I put it in after I take it out of the pot so it's easy to carry, and then I have a paper towel to dry it off with. And I'll start doing that right now. Now the tear notch goes across this way, so I like to do this. I like to make sure all the food is down below the tear notch. And hopefully I should have a good clean rip across, but not always. Nope, that wasn't a good clean rip. I'll see if I can get at the rest of the from this end. Not quite, didn't quite make it all the way across, but there we go. Now we can see all this chicken and noodles and veggies in its slightly aged glory. Not too much left behind, actually, which is pretty good. Actually, there's a little bit left behind. There we go, that's good enough. Oh, there's chicken, there's carrots, bits of potato, and appears to be mushrooms, and that is it for in here. There's a nice sized piece of the chicken. There's a tiny bit of mushroom underneath it. I like mushrooms, so I'm happy about that. There's a bit of the carrot. Very soft, very mushy. Basically falls apart when you put it in your mouth. Actually, maybe that wasn't a potato, maybe that was just a short piece of the noodle. There is a piece of the noodle right there. It still has a tiny bit of chew left in it. Oh, it looks like red bell pepper. There's some red bell pepper in there. Nice. But like the carrots, it just melts in your mouth. About the only thing that does not do that is the chicken and the noodles. Everything else just kind of dissolves. Yep. It's got I'm going to break this bit of cracker free from this part that got the peanut butter and jelly on it. I'll just kind of leave it there. I'm going to break this cracker into it. Take some of the bits that landed here, put them in there. I think this should be enough for in here, since I've already taken a few bites of it. It could use a bit more of an herb flavor to it, but I'm still going to enjoy it. I'm going to give my orange drink another mix because there's still powder in the bottom. Typical U.S. Emery orange drink. Nowhere near the quality of that German orange drink that I had from that EPA. That stuff is awesome. Prepford is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. 2022 pack. Emery menu 3. I put most of one of the crackers in here. Give this a little bit of crunch and texture. This is raspberry applesauce. Raspberry puree mixed in with applesauce, so that's why it has that kind of a strange color. I thought about maybe not bothering with the coffee since I was outside in the heat today at the Des Moines Art Festival working the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow booth. I thought, you know what, if there's coffee, I'm going to have it. And I brought out a backup plan in case this menu did not have coffee in it. But I can put that backup plan away. Yep, these are one of those menus that are pretty filling because they're carb heavy. The applesauce was in one of those pouches that you just rip off. A tab similar to the drink pouch that I emptied into my drinking jar. It's meant to be eaten on the run. You could just suck it right out of the pouch and not bother with using a spoon or trying to find something to put it in. The raspberry flavor and the smell are definitely present. It's right up there with the apple, so it's about an even mix as far as the flavors go. Yep. I saved the extra coffee and a cappuccino from the German EPA. I saved the extra tea from that one. And because I only did 2 streams with that one, I saved the other drink mixes. The exotic and tropical flavored drink mixes plus the cocoa mix, I held on to those. And that muesli on this past Thursday was a recommended fast day for Muslims for Ashura, which is also celebrated by Jews. So I fasted that day, and I ate that muesli with the banana chips in it and that Spanish breakfast ration. I broke that down, and I took the muesli from that and the milk powder from that. I combined all those together into that German muesli bag. And then I just put cold water in it, mixed that up. Ate some cereal bars and had a cup of coffee. Very early before first light. And then I didn't eat anything until dinner at the mosque last Thursday. So that's where that German muesli went. And that gave me enough energy to go through the day. Yep. But I brought some, I brought my own snacks to eat at the art festival while working the booth because I wasn't sure what the food situation was like, and I did not have the cash to buy any food. But yesterday, one of the others working the booth with me went. She was interested in this Lebanese food truck. So I said, yeah, try it. So she bought me a beef sausage wrap, which is really good. But the rest of the time, I just ate snacks. I went ahead and I stripped my two Moors and my halal MRE, and I took what I wanted out of those. I even took the halal beef and barley stew, but I stuck to the snacks. Of course, yesterday and Friday I just drank water, but today I knocked back electrolytes. Because it was a hot one today. Yeah, I mixed up 2 bottles full of electrolyte, plus I divided up an Emery lemonade stick packet that, you know, it's like this but smaller, the kind that they're the sugar-free ones that you would put in your standard water bottle. So I divided that mix up in between the 2 bottles, plus my lemon lime electrolyte drink mix, and I put those in the fridge to chill overnight. Then I had another already made electrolyte drink that I took, and I drank about half of that there. And the rest of it I drank while waiting for buses to go home. Pepper for the Ages is here. Thanks for dropping in. I put part of one of the crackers in there because some of the jelly landed on it. The apple jelly and the peanut butter. Those crackers by themselves definitely need something because you want to take a drink right after taking a bite of that cracker. But at the art festival, Friday, I didn't start there because I was at the mosque for Friday prayer. So as soon as that was done, I hauled tail. I have my grocery hauler with my Opus power station and my bag of snacks, and I had some string for one of the other booth volunteers, but she didn't come Friday. She came yesterday, so I gave it to her yesterday. It was one of those strings or kinds of string that I had separated when I rescued a big bag of assorted yarn lengths that was in the laundry room of my building. Otherwise it would have gone to the dumpster. Oh no, I'll salvage this. So I showed it to her, She had already seen pictures of it, but seeing it in person, I showed it to her and asked her, would this be suitable for the kind of work that you do? And she says, absolutely. It's a thin string with kind of a glittery fringe on it. And what she does is she does indigenous beadwork. She makes what's known as regalia for indigenous dancers or elders or other people who want those outfits for particular ceremonies. And the style of that depends on what it is used for, as well as specific tribal references. So she said that stuff would be absolutely useful. So there's probably enough there to do something for one outfit. So I gave her that. Then I have the other 2 bags of string, different types of yarn that I've separated. Those will go to the powwow itself for use in the craft area for the kids to create with. The basic yarn is suitable for like making pony bead bracelets or necklaces. And then the other type, it's more of a delicate, more fuzzy. They can do other stuff with that. But today this weekend we handed out little teepee kits. We got the pattern, or one of our guys printed out the pattern that he downloaded, and then got little 4 packs of crayons and bulk, and the pattern has instructions on how to do it. And so we handed out over 500 of those and 1,000 information cards. And then Friday afternoon, one of our guys he is a dancer. He also plays a flute and an indigenous style drum that he beats with a stick. Holds it in one hand and then hits it with the stick that's in the other hand. So he did a bit of that Friday. That's the short that I put up of him doing a bit of that. So stuff like that will be at the powwow itself, but he did a little bit of that. And we got invited to do a couple other events later on this year. There are other nonprofits at the art festival. So we are basically networking, going around to the other booths in the nonprofit area, and we're talking to some of the others, or they were interested and came over to our booth to say, we would like to hook up give you a chance to promote your powwow at our event. So, yeah, we're going to work those details out. So today was very successful. Yeah, it is a bit small. But if you had other stuff you could add to it to kind of boost it up. Yeah, I threw some cracker in there. But I think it could use a bit more herb flavor. Maybe a few other veggies in there. I would have liked to see peas, or maybe green beans, corn, potatoes in here. That would be good. And Tim Riley has slid in. Now the dancer I was referring to earlier, he is Meskwaki. So he dances in their powwows and other Meskwaki ceremonies in addition to the White Eagle powwow. And he is actually part of a larger organization called Native Pride. And some of that group's dancers were in the Macy's parade. They're like 3 or 4 boys who are below 10 years old. And they were just killing it. I watched the clips of these boys. I mean, they were owning that street with their skill. Yep, it almost seems like it was not a full 8 ounces, but I'm sure it was. It's nice that the chicken was not overly processed, but could have used a bit more of the chicken. That would have been nice to see. But for a lunch, this is probably a good lunch menu for the soldier in the field, or someone doing a training and they have to carry the rations. Yeah, that thing didn't last too long, but it's enjoyable nonetheless. But this powdered hot sauce, I think would have been too much for this. So this will go into my stash. I have a bag full of Ration seasonings. That will go in there. And whoever packed this accessory packet, 2 packets of salt. Would have been nice if one of these would have been pepper. I probably would have thrown that pepper in there. But I'm okay with that. I'll take that extra packet of salt and it'll go right into that same bag of seasoning packets that the powdered hot sauce will go into. These crackers break too easily. They really can't handle a whole lot of weight of spread. Yeah, I almost pulled out my cheese pizza emery, but I decided, nope, I'll wait on that one. I'm probably going to try to do something different with that cheese pizza. Thanks for dropping in, Prep for it. Hope to see you another day. Sometime next month. I took a bite of that raspberry applesauce, and that raspberry covers up the flavor of the apple jelly. M&M's, they gave me a lot of the blue ones. And speaking of blue, I don't know if anyone saw this, but I did. That company that makes the M&M's, two colors are being temporarily cut out. And I think blue is one of them. I can't remember the other color. But two of these colors are being taken out. I don't know if it's some issue with the dyes that they use for those two colors. M&M's are perfect. Hey Waffles, thanks for dropping in. You've been doing some cool stuff. You've been getting into some really neat rations. And do try to have a little fun on your vacation. And speaking of vacation, that will be coming up for me the last week of July. That's when my family goes to Lake Icaria. Yeah, we go to the same place. We get the same cabins because these particular cabins suit our needs. Especially my mom and my oldest sister. My mom has mobility issues, uses an oxygen concentrator at night, and maybe during the day if her oxygen level is below 90. She carries a pulse ox. I own one, but I usually don't take it with me because she has hers, but I might change that. Maybe I'll just buy another one. Be good to have a spare one of those anyway. And then my oldest sister uses a CPAP. So we have to have power for those. And of course the cabins that we use, the two that we use have bathrooms, and one of them is an accessible one, so that works out for my mom for when she wants to take a shower. The toilet has rails on one side and behind it. Most of the other cabins don't have their own bathrooms. The people that use those cabins have to go to the shower house to go to the bathroom or take a shower. And the one cabin that are best for my mom and my sister, and I sleep in there as well. That is the one that is considered wheelchair accessible. My mom uses a walker. The other one that we use has steps. And the one that my mom, my oldest sister, and I, maybe my niece or my great niece or someone else will sleep in that cabin. We call that, we have that as our working kitchen because it has a big patio area where we can set up our, the camp stove. We have a Coleman camp stove that we use, and my second oldest sister's Blackstone cooker, we have that. She connects a 10-pound propane tank to each one of those, so we don't have to switch propane tanks. We can have both of those going at once. We have the 2 picnic tables, and we put up a canopy over those. And 2 years ago, there was a really nasty series of windstorms that blew through. It took our canopy, it took another group's canopy, just sent them way across the campground, almost into the lake. They're recovered, but both canopies are mangled, so they immediately went to the dumpster. There's Pumpkin. There's Pumpkin. Give me Pumpkin. Pumpkin. It's a Pumpkin. She likes to go underneath my chair when I'm sitting out here in my living room. Come here, Pumpkin. My viewers want to see the kitty. My viewers want to see the kitty. Yes, they do. Yes, they like the kitty, Pumpkin. They like the kitty. Yes, they do. Pumpkin. I can't see her in this shot. I might have to move my oh crap. Sorry about that. That didn't work. That didn't work. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it back up here. The heck? Oh, that didn't work. Sorry about that. I just wanted to turn my jaw that way, but it sits in my M&M's down on the floor. I do not want Pumpkin to get those. I'm just making sure I didn't drop any more of the M&Ms. So again, I do apologize for that. Yeah, rookie mistake. And because this is live, that's going to stay in. I just used one of my old lights to shine it down on the floor to make sure I got all the M&Ms picked up. Meow. What you saying, Pumpkin? What you saying, Pumpkin? Oh, she moved again. She likes to move underneath my chair. The camera's over here, Pumpkin. Yeah, the viewers want to see the kitty. They want to see the kitty, Pumpkin. Because they like the kitty. They like the kitty, Pumpkin. Yes, they do. And I'll move that back. Sometimes she can be camera shy. Sometimes I can catch her off guard. Also at the art festival, there were quite a number of dogs. People were walking with their dogs. And I was looking at the rules online for attending the art festival. It said no pets, only service dogs or service animals, but I only saw one service dog that had a proper vest and ID tag. But I saw a whole bunch of other dogs, and the rules also say you're not supposed to ride your bike inside the festival area. Same with scooters, but people were doing that. But overall, the art festival was very fun. We did not have access to power from any of the power cords that were strung around. So that's why I told the others that I would bring my Opus power station, and if anybody needed to charge their phones or run other devices off of it, they could. Friday and Saturday, no one took me up on that, but today it's gonna be a hot one, so when I got to the booth first because of my timing with the bus. So I positioned the tables, I unfolded the chairs, and then I put my fan on top of one of these big concrete posts that had bent rebar put into it after the concrete was poured into the form or mold. So it looked kind of like this, like this sticking out of the concrete. And that is what was used to tie the guy lines for the tents and canopies. So exhibitors did not bring their own, at least most of them. I think a couple of the food trucks maybe have brought their own as part of their setup. But all of the exhibit tents and canopies are owned by the art festival, and we just use them. So those are, because they're that wide and that bent rebar is in the middle, there's plenty of space for me to set the fan on. And then my power station was just down on the curb of the sidewalk right at the base of that. And because I put a towel in my grocery hauler suitcase to protect it as I was pulling it along to and from the park where the festival was, I took that towel and I just put it on top just to protect it from the sun. And I had that thing on high, probably about maybe 10:45 or so. I got that fan going, and then about 5:15 is when I shut it off to pack it away. As far as actual festival attendance, I wouldn't have any idea, because my aim was to get to the White Eagle booth. The only time I left it was when I had to go to one of the kaibos, as we used to call them back in the day, or the porta potties that they'd set up past the food truck lane. Or when it was time to walk to the bus stop. And of course yesterday for lunch, when one of my cohorts bought me that beef sausage wrap from the Lebanese food truck. So that was pretty much it. I didn't go explore the creative zone where all the nonprofit interactive booths were at closed up at 7 Friday and yesterday. So if I wanted to, I could have explored the other parts of the festival, but I just wanted to go home. But I think tomorrow the local media will give a rough attendance on how many people came. I'm sure there were repeat visits at most of the other art exhibits. You could actually buy pieces from the artists. There are also student art exhibitions. There was like an emerging artist exhibition. There's also a film festival in the public library, which is nearby because they have a big screening room. I have watched films and documentaries and went to other screening events in that place in the past. So those films of various length were also free to watch. The only thing that you had to have money for was to buy food and drinks and t-shirts or buy art from the individual artists. But the creative zone where I was at, all those interactives, crafts that each booth was presenting was free. Like the Iowa radio reading service, also known as IRIS, where it's a radio station on a specific frequency that you access by a certain type of radio, and the people that work for the IRIS radio station, they read books, they read newspapers and magazines, and at their booth they had what are known as Braille writers that blind people use to like write notes or whatever in Braille, which is a tactile symbol system for letters, numbers, and special characters. So they had that set up where kids could get a card with their name written in Braille so they could feel what the Braille letters look like. You know, they could feel it as well as see the dot patterns. But that's what they had going. And they came to us and said they would like to come to our powwow and broadcast and do audio descriptives of the different performances on their station. And because they will be there, if you're blind people who attend our powwow, they will be able to listen to that right there. And we had a few blind people coming through our area yesterday and today, so we gave them information about the powwow. But based on what we saw, you know, we handed out over 500 of the little TP craft kits and over 1,000 of the information cards. We probably saw maybe 3,000 just in front of us. On the block of the street that all of the nonprofits were set up on. And if other people came to the festival that did not come over to the creative zone, then that probably, there could have been an attendance of at least, I'm just going to say 5,000 to 10,000. There may have been a lot of repeats, but I think local media may put up a rough attendance tomorrow. I'm going to look for that. But we were invited to set up next year, and we were invited to 2 other events, as I mentioned earlier, by 2 other nonprofits. At Half Marathon, that's a charity race, and then the Blank Park Zoo wants us to show up for one of their events. So we are going to work those out. So that is going to help us reach out to more people about the mission of the White Eagle Powwow. And in my previous post about it, I said 26th, it's actually the 27th. We did skip 2020 because of the big nasty. Yeah, that stupid thing ruined our fun. But we picked up we picked up again in 21. I'm just scraping up some more of this applesauce. Yeah, the mission of it, according to the young man, this powwow is in honor and memory of. He kept a journal, and after he died, when he tried to get a stuck hawk off of a power pole, its talons were kind of caught in the wires at the top of the pole. And when this young man went up the pole, he was the Mid-American Energy lineman, so he climbed poles for a living. That was his job. So he went up that pole to try to get this bird free, but because the bird got spooked, its wings touched 2 active nodes on the top of that pole, and it fried both of them instantly. And when his parents were going through his things after, they found that journal, and he wrote about wanting to create an event to bring indigenous and non-indigenous groups together, bring different races and ethnic groups together, and so that became the mission of the White Eagle Powwow. And that was this young man's indigenous name that was given to him later in life because it was not given to him after his birth. But White Eagle is his indigenous name. Of course, in the Meskwaki language, it would be a whole lot. It would be something else, and I have no idea what that is. I probably couldn't pronounce it anyway. But that's what the White Eagle stands for, is this young man who tried to save a hawk from a power line, but it got spooked, startled, and both of them got fried instantly. And they were allowed to bury, the parents were allowed to bury their son with that hawk on his chest. They had to get permission from the state to do that, and it was granted. So, when I fell into it by accident, just by checking it out when the powwow was held at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, I thought, I'm going to go check this out. I want to see what's going on. I'd never been to one of these. This is my chance to attend one. And I wandered over to the kids' crafts area. I did kids' crafts when I was at the YMCA camp outside of Boone during the summer sessions when the various groups of kids came for the general youth camps or the specialty camps that we had. And I was assigned to the craft lodge, and so I was doing the kids' crafts there. So when I fell into helping out with the powwow, the lady that was running the kids' craft area asked me if I wouldn't mind staying there while she went and got lunch. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll hang. So I did. When she came back, I didn't leave, I stayed. I continued to help her, and I said, I want to come back and help you tomorrow. So, that was Saturday. And then Sunday I went back and helped her, and I just continued to do that. And then, of course, a few years ago, I joined the committee after I presented them with a collapsible wagon after Amazon screwed up and sent me two and told me I could keep them. I said, nope, I know where the other one's going. And the powwow committee have been looking at getting one of those wagons to buy, and I said, nope, here it is, I'm giving it to you. Yeah, I love the mission of the White Eagle Powwow. Yeah, there is an Islamic saying that Allah or God created us, in different ways and speaking different languages so that we can get to know each other, or something like that. In fact, we had some Ethiopians come and ask about possibly joining our list of performers. Yeah, we'll take your name and we'll take your info. We'll get you hooked up. And so we were scouting for volunteers, and the Lebanese food truck that I got lunch from yesterday, the lady that bought my lunch took a picture of their phone number on the side of their food truck. Yeah, we're gonna call them. And today I was passing by the food truck that is owned by some friends that I know from my mosque. I said, yeah, we're still looking for food vendors if you're still interested. Yeah, so they're interested. So when I got back to our booth, I told my one of the others that was there, yeah, Kamal's still interested. He said, send him a message. So I told him which weekend it was. It's the second weekend in September instead of the first or the third that it had been. That way we're not conflicting with other events in the area. So that maybe we can draw more people in. And then also a few people who have attended our powwows in the past came and asked, when's it going to be? So we gave them the info card. Of course, I talked it up at bus stops. And right here at my apartment building, I told Mom and had some kids with her that we were going to be at the art festival in the creative zone. And then the powwow itself, I told them about that. And we're branching out more into social media. We have a TikTok account. We have Instagram, of course, Facebook. There's this app called Nextdoor. I have that app. I put our art festival appearances in that, and I also put that in the Des Moines Patch. And I even posted it on X, formerly Twitter. So I'm plugging it. So that is the second weekend in September, and that Sunday I will not stream because I have no idea what time I will get home. You know, I'll need time to unpack and put away my gear because I will be camping there at the park. Hopefully sleeping in one of the teepees like I've done the past 3 years. I had to sleep in a different teepee last year because the one that I was going to use got messed up by squirrels that got into the storage, you know, the shipping container that we use as a storage locker. So that one has to get repaired. So that repair work may be going on now. And of course we'll need to get some more teepee poles. We got some that are about ready to bite the dust. So we can have more teepees put up. But yeah, I slept in, well, my craft partner and I slept in a different one that is owned by another guy who had his stuff stored in there, and then there's plenty of room in it. We put some of the craft supplies in there just to keep them out of the elements. So we will do that again. Because my Eureka tent is more of a winter tent than a summer tent. I don't own a true summer tent. That one that I had got off of Wish years ago, that was a fail. Because Sunday when I was packing it up to go to, I was going to take it down to pack it away. I zipped the screen in it, and the zipper pull came off right in my hand. Said, nope, I won't be able to open that one again. That was gone. So I ditched that tent, but I saved the poles. And the poles almost worked with my Eureka tent that was given to me by one of my sisters, who got it from someone who only used it a few times. I've used it like 3 or 4 times. But my old Wish tent poles are just a hair short. But I could use it in the Eureka tent because one of the poles for it has a duct tape repair. But if that one completely goes to crap, in a pinch I could use one of those Eureka tent poles. But that model of the Eureka Tetragon 7 tent, that has been off the market for quite a few years. But that is definitely a winter tent. You know, but it's a good size one. It was labeled as a 4-person, but it's a 2-person plus gear basically. My other option would be to hang a hammock, but in the area that will be set aside for powwow volunteers or vendors or performers to camp on site, there are not very many trees that are spaced properly for hanging a hammock, so it was decided that it would be good if I just use one of the teepees. So that's what I've done for 3 years, and I can put a cot in there. I can put my stuff underneath my cot, which I couldn't do in the tent. And I usually take a lot of extra stuff for the powwow camp because, you know, I'm using a cot. I have my mattress, my air mattress pump. I took my Opus power station last year but never used it. I took a smaller one for me and my craft partner. We charged our phones off of that. I charged one of my Olight swivels off of it. But I'll do the same thing. I'll take my Opus and one of my smaller power stations, probably the Satechi because it's slim. And it has a fast charging USB port, a USB-C. So yeah, well, plus I have craft supplies that I donate myself. I buy some of the stuff just because I want to. because the powwow committee's not made of money. We apply for grants because we are a nonprofit. I think we just got our 501c3 status last year. So that will help us out as far as the grant applications go. And the art festival is going to be sending us a check next month. So that will definitely help us out as far as buying other things for the powwow. But yeah, I like to donate stuff to it. But yeah, that's Sunday, September 13th. I will not stream because I have no idea what time I'm going to get back. And the last week of July, see, I'll grab my other, I can pull up the calendar on my other one, my backup phone that I use for apps that I don't have room for on my main phone. So July 26th, I will not be streaming because I will be at the lake. And even with my hotspot, it's hard to get signal. But because US Cellular is in the process of merging with T-Mobile, I'm not sure when I will be replacing my US Cellular hotspot with a T-Mobile one. You know, I've had this hotspot for a few years, and I actually bought it used. And the new the T-Mobile SIM card will not be compatible with that particular hotspot, so I will be getting a new one anyway. I just don't know when. But if it's before the lake trip, that would be awesome because maybe I can get better signal. But I will find that out for sure because trying to get signal out at the lake can be spotty at best. I have to find just the right spot in order to get enough signal to upload a short to YouTube or a reel on Facebook. And a picture can take a long time to upload. Unless I'm in just the right spot, because there's not a cell tower all that close to the campground, the Lake Icaria campground, so. But that can be a good thing. Yeah, I would take the Italian breadsticks over a plain wheat snack bread. But I would want them warm with a little butter and a little garlic. Garlic butter on it. Maybe some Parmesan cheese. Yeah, I would be wanting to do a little something with those. I wonder if I'll get those breadsticks in that pizza MRE that I'm still sitting on. I mean, the breadsticks taste kind of sharp, or the cheese spread. Now, the cheese spread with jalapeno, I would definitely be okay with putting that on the breadsticks. Although I'd rather put something like that on a chili or the Mexican chicken stew or something like that. That is exactly what I do. I have a 2019 cheese tortellini. I'll do the exact same thing with that. I'll get my parm out of the kitchen and I'll throw that on those raviolis or those, yeah, the cheese tortellinis. Because I think it helps those. Yeah, the plain cheese spread, I find it a bit too salty sometimes. The jalapeno cheese spread, that jalapeno cuts through that saltiness. The cheese spread out of British rations that I've had, not quite as salty. It's a little different recipe in that one. I actually wouldn't mind having one of those cheese spreads again. Oh, and that German pepper spread, I thought it was butter because it looked like butter. I had an extra one in my fridge. I thought I would melt it. It didn't really melt all that well, so I guess that's cheese because it's not melting like butter. But I still left it in the pan. I put the butter in there and fried some eggs in it. So that bit of peppery cheese got mixed in with my eggs. And I didn't mind that one bit. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the fruit punch, although the tropical punch is worse. The U.S. Emery tropical punch, I'm not a fan of that. I think it tastes kind of strange. It leaves this strange red residue in my drinking jar. Sometimes it doesn't mix very well. I would love to see that one replaced with something better. like the drinks from the German ration that I had the last 2 weeks. That big Dutch ration with the Orifo drink mixes. I'll take those any day over any of the American drink powders. Yeah, any of the European ones. I will take over the American any day. Even some of the Canadian drink powders are better than the American ones. European grapefruit drink mixes, both the yellow and the pink ones, awesome. Oh, that is really good. I like that bar. I wonder if they're going to come out with other flavors. I would love to see other flavors of that bar, other versions of it. I do like that one. Oh, you might like it. If that's a flavor profile you like, you might like it. I got that big behemoth ration that I got from Mike Kresher. I have that big Ukrainian ration with a lot of Homipsa items in it. Yeah, I pronounce it Homipsa since it originates from Spain. So I choose the correct Spanish pronunciation for it. For tonight, since I knew I had a chance of coming late from the art festival after packing away our stuff so that the festival people can go ahead and tear down the tents and the canopies so that the streets can be opened up to traffic by morning. I wasn't sure of bus timings. Just, I had to wait probably about 15 minutes after I got to the bus stop near where the festival was. And then when I got to the bus station, I had to wait over a half hour because Sunday schedule less, not as frequent. But I was able to, I think I caught the last bus, or the second to the last bus from the station that had come home. And of course I took time to unpack my hauler. I put that fan away. I got to clean out those 2 bottles that I mixed the electrolyte drink powders in. Because for the most part I store water in those bottles and I keep them in the fridge so they're always cold. That way they're a quick grab when I want to go out and I want to take a water bottle with me. So I took time to do that, and I went into the ration box and what am I going to have for dinner? I just want just a basic meal. So that I pulled out this chicken with noodles. Oh yeah, that's a score. Yeah, I got the regular milk chocolate M&Ms tonight, but hey, I'm okay with that. I don't mind a little chocolate now and then. Although a dark chocolate M&Ms, oh yeah, I'll be all over that one because I like dark chocolate. So the first three Sundays in July, I will have my Sunday night dinner streams. I might go after that Ukrainian ration. Yeah, I was sent two of those, the same menu, and then I did a trade with Mike Kreischer, and that's how I got that other behemoth. Of course, he packed that box fully loaded, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I packed that box to the max for him. I sent him not only ration stuff, but I sent him some Iowa fatwood. I sent him some Iowa birch bark, a pill bottle full of cotton balls mixed with Vaseline. I sent him an Olight, a little keychain light. Plus a bunch of edible goodies and some Iowa-made items. The Twin Bing, the original cherry. I couldn't find the mint ones. The stores that I looked at did not have any of the mint ones. So I sent him two of the cherry ones, and I sent him some Iowa beef jerky and beef sticks, so he could have a sample of those. And he knew about that brand from Letha, who had sent him those, and I think he found them somewhere in his area. But I sent him some of those so he could have some Iowa goodies, because why not? Well, these sorts of caramel recovery bars may be in different menus, and they may have shown up in some First Strike rations. My next ration hunt I will try to get some of the C-cars. Right now there are only 3 menus, but I do hope that expands soon. But I do want to get a set of the C-cars. I want some newer MCWs. that have the Pro Pack, the Mountain House Pro Pack, instead of the tan, slender ones that don't have a resealable top. I would like to try some of the newer MCW menus. And there may be some others that Ration Group and Facebook. There's a guy I dealt with before. He's the one who sent me the French ration along with the Dutch, because he wanted to make up for having issues with the shipping and his timing and all that stuff. Life happened, so he sent me the French ration as an extra. So I think after I get back from the lake, I might hit him up to see what he has. Yeah, if he's got foreign rations, yeah, he's already got them in the U.S., so I don't have to worry about getting them sent in from elsewhere and run the risk of them being raided. Because I won't buy from anyone who is outside of the country. I just don't want to take that risk anymore. Yeah, if I ever come across, I still have my other goulash emery that I'm sitting on while I'm waiting until I can get a foreign goulash so I can do a comparison. Actually, yeah, I might actually switch that up. I may hold off on the Ukrainian, because if I get this other one in before this coming Sunday, the 5th, then I may go ahead and do the goulashes back to back, like I did with some other ones. I did this with the U.S. and Canadian rations that had the same entree in it, like the chili, the ravioli. I did those comparisons. So that's how I would do that. I wouldn't open them both up at the same time. And I would just do them like back-to-back Sundays. So if I get this foreign chili ration in, I'll eat the U.S. one first on the 5th, and then I'll do the other one the following Sunday. So that'll be back to back. And of course the Sunday after that I will just dip into something else. Maybe I might open up the corned beef one after that. I'm not sure, but we'll see how that goes. So I may save the Ukrainian ration till August, after I get back from the lake. Yeah, I think that's a better way to do it. But I am looking forward to digging into that one. Yeah, the Facebook ration group I'm in, I did a spread of that Ukrainian ration, posted it in there, just like I did a spread of the German EPA, posted it in there. Like the MRI Meals and Survival Food group is where I did those. Of course, when I did that unboxing of those 2 Ukrainian rations, the one of them had tape on the side of the bag, so I'm going to go ahead and open this one. I just want to make sure that there's nothing damaged, so that's why I opened that particular one. And when I got to do the trade with Mike, I sent him the one that had no tape on it, that had not been opened by me or anyone. And I kept the other one for myself. Exact same menu. So we may not do them at the same time, but they are in our lineup for review. So have to watch for Mike Kreischer's review of that Ukrainian ration as well as mine. It should be interesting to see what Homipsa did for the Polish company that had those put together. Yeah, Homipsa is out of Spain. They do the Spanish rations, and they might do the Portuguese ones, I'm not sure. I've never seen a Portuguese ration, so I wouldn't have any idea where those are produced. But Humipsa seems to be spreading their wings a bit as far as getting into more countries. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that one is going to be all about. But I've been itching to do this goulash comparison since the last attempt failed, because Polish ration, the main entree was actually a bigos hunter stew, and this little can that said English goulash was beef lunch meat, kind of like a beef version of Spam. You're kind of like that, those little, what looked like to be a pate was actually more of a luncheon loaf type thing, because you couldn't spread it. Yeah, it was more like that instead of an actual goulash in a tomato sauce. But when I get that package, I will be doing a mail call. And I will shout out the sender. I'll put a link to his channel, like I usually do. Speaking of foreign rations, I've been watching the MEE Experience. He got a hold of a goulash main, but it was freeze dried, and it looked a whole lot different than what we usually know to be a goulash, but it still looked pretty darn good. Yep, I just randomly picked my Crusher's mug tonight. I'll rotate in between my channel mugs, as I call them. And I may be on the hunt for some others if some other reviewers have their logos on a mug. I may be after it. Because I wouldn't mind having some more channel mugs on my kitchen wall. Yeah. And the heat index is 90 something. Yeah, it's going to be a heater. I think like after a whole week, it might dip back down into the 80s. When I was looking at the forecast earlier today, of course, I kept watching the clouds as I was sitting underneath our canopy waiting for people to come to our booth so we could talk them into coming to the powwow or handing out the teepee kits. I kept looking up at these dark clouds that kept crossing over, and we were thinking, is it going to rain? Well, it doesn't appear. Rain doesn't seem to be in the forecast, so I guess it's just clouds moving over. And that's pretty much what it was. I only felt a few sprinkles when I got out of the bus. The first bus I took to, I went to the, I was actually walking to the first bus stop closest to my building to go to the DART station. I felt a few sprinkles there. And then I felt a few sprinkles at the DART station as well. But then after that, nothing. It was just wind and heat. But this is summer, so we got to deal with it. At least for the next 3 weeks, I will be back on schedule. Just the 26th of July, I will be at the lake. At least that's how I have it on my calendar. So I will have to double check with my sisters to make sure that I got the correct dates right. But if that is wrong, I will toss up a post about that. I'll probably go ahead and toss up a post about my the fan that I'd set up in our booth before the others arrived, and my Opus power station running it, just for the sheer heck of it. Yeah, fishy, it's a little warm. It's it's almost desert hot, but we got the humidity, and it was humid today. Even with that wind blowing, and the two fans that we had going inside of our booth to try to get some air movement. Yeah, it was still quite humid, so I am so glad I decided to mix up electrolyte drinks and then take a third one with me, which so my pink bottle holds the same amount as this one, like 750 mils, about, quart plus a cup. Give or take a few ounces. Then my camo one, which holds 500 mils. So I had both of those full. And then I had another 500 ml bottle that came from a store that I've been keeping in my fridge. So I took that. I drank the bottles that I mixed first. Then I kept that other bottle inside of this little lunch bag that I had my snacks in. To try to keep it cold a little bit longer, since it was just in the factory factory bottle. So I had that in there, and I had my hauler underneath the table, so it was out of the way and out of the sun. And so I drank half of that third bottle there, and then the rest of it I drank while I was waiting for buses. I had the Under Armour branded lemon lime electrolyte powders. Those are the last two I had of those, so I have those liquid IV ones that I got on a discount at a local Hy-Vee store. They're like $6, and then the exact same one on the regular shelf was over $12. Not sure why that particular one was discounted, but yeah, I'll take it, because I want some of those for summer. But that's only 6 packets. I got others stashed away, but I do want to keep some in longer term storage. So I may try some other electrolyte drink powders just to try them out, see how they taste. I've never tried actually I tried a liquid IV one someone brought to my mosque during Ramadan. She had a strawberry one. No, it was a strawberry watermelon. And she poured it into my water bottle Oh yeah, this tastes pretty good. I like this one. And the one that I bought is peach flavored. That strawberry watermelon one, I think that's what it was. It was strawberry kiwi or whatever. I don't remember, but I know it had strawberry in it, so I may get some of that one because I thought that one tasted pretty good. But I drank a few of those at the lake last year when it was super hot, super humid. And I want to have not only enough for me, but enough to share. I tried some of the other just regular drink mixes that one of my sisters had that were not the electrolyte ones, but just different flavored ones. I wanted to try them. But I do like the Under Armour ones. I like the flavor of it. But I might try, yeah, I'll try some others, because why not? So when I get my money for July, part of my shopping will be geared toward a trip to the lake. Because I take specific foods with me to the lake, and halal beef bacon, beef breakfast sausage, the halal beef for hot dogs, or I might get the chicken or the turkey ones. I don't know, usually the beef ones. Plus I contribute some snacks that we keep on what we set up as a snack shelf in cabins. So I will be going after stuff like that. One of my sisters may get some more of those Paleo Valley beef sticks. If they have a special where you get like 30 of them for like last year, they had a sale where you get 30 of them for $35. I don't know if they'll do that again, but if they do, we may end up with a bunch of those. I may get some halal ones, halal beef sticks. But we'll see about that when I do my July shopping haul. I will be getting started on that. This coming week. This week I'll be starting in on that. It takes me a few trips to get it all, but I like to get it all done as soon as possible. That way I don't have to think about it again. That's just the way I do it. And who knows what I'll end up with. I think for tonight, I'm going to go ahead and call this good. Yeah, the main in this one, it does need a little help, but I'm still happy with it. What could be fun is if you had this, the chicken chunks, this chicken with egg noodles and veggies, like the other chicken noodle one. I forget what that one is called. And I would combine this spinach fettuccine because I like that one. That's just me. I may be weird. But I would combine all of those together. Throw some herbs in there. And definitely some black pepper. Because this man could use the black pepper. I'd mix all that together. I'll be happy camper. I think it'd be interesting to mix the chicken burrito bowl with the Mexican style chicken stew. I wonder what that one would be like mixed together. Sounds like something Old Smoky might try. I know I would. But that's another thought for another day. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. Sorry about the late start and sorry about the camera jump when I wanted to aim it at my cat, but you know how things go. So thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.